Hi everyone, this is Tony from iForm Builder, and this video is designed to get you started in a crash course in the iForm Builder platform. If you don't currently have a trial account or a paid account, you can always sign up for a new one by clicking on this Try It button on the iForm Builder homepage. It'll take you to our sign up page, and once you have entered all of your information, you will receive an email with your username and password, and you can log in and begin building your forms. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to sign in with the user that I created. And by default, anytime you log in, it's going to take you to the My Data page. So whatever forms you have rights to view will show up in this page here. Since this is a brand new account, there's no forms and no data. So the first thing we need to do is start by building a form. We'll bypass all of the admin menus for right now and go right into Form Builder. So I'm going to load the Form Builder page, and you'll see that this menu comes up, and if we had a few forms in here, we would have the option of either loading them or making a copy of that form. Since we don't have either option, we're just going to go ahead and click on Create New Form. This new window loads, and we have the ability to define our form name. Now this is the data table name that's going to be stored in the database. It's not what is shown to the user on the device. And this must be a database friendly name. So we'll call this lead capture. And then our label can be whatever we want, lead capture event. And this is what is shown to the user on the device. The description can be lead capture form created by Tony Ruth. Alright, we get to choose a form icon either from this predefined list, or you can paste in your own URL that points to an image on the web. These images should be a 64 by 64 pixel PNG graphic with transparent background. Alright, we're going to go ahead and choose the gear icon and save our changes. The first thing I'd like to point out, I'm not a huge fan of autosave, so I typically turn this off from the very beginning. And now we're ready to start adding fields to our form. The first field we're going to add is going to be a text element, and this will actually be called first name. And I can't spell today. Alright, so we have a text field for first name and we want another one for last name. The easiest thing to do is highlight this element here and then click on duplicate input. This allows us to replicate the structure of the element above and then just change the label to last name. So now we have two fields for first name, last name, and let's capture an email address. So we'll just add a new input and call this email address. Now in the input properties, we don't want to make this a text. We actually want to use an email input so that we can send a copy of this data to the person who fills it out. So I'll select email from the input type, and then I'll make sure to click the send email checkbox. Otherwise it will just act as a data capture point and it will not send an email report to this person. At this point I'm going to add an option list to my email element, and now there's a few elements that will accept an option list. Email is one of them, as well as a multi-select, a pick list, and a select element. I've gone ahead and created an option list called email domains. And in this email domains option list, I have several common domain names. No worries if you can't name them all, because there's an option for the user to key in a domain name when we interact with the form. So I'll select this list that I've already predefined and then assign this list to my element. You can see now that I have all of the choices that I've defined in my list available for the email address. We're going to add two more fields, one being a divider, and I'll just call this div1. Change the input property to a divider. And this just helps break up the form and give the user a visual reference point of where content starts and stops. The last field we want to add is a signature field. So add the signature field and call this user signature, or how about lead signature. And you can see as I change the label, the data column name changes as well. If you want to define these data column names and not have it based on label, you just uncheck this box, and we can call this just signature. And that allows you to easily define forms to match a database or a data table in an existing system. And we're going to go ahead and save this here. And one last thing we're going to do is actually make this signature field required, as well as this first name and last name field. And what this does is it won't allow the user to submit this record back to the server unless all of these fields are filled out. So we save this, and since I'm going to be logging in with the user who created this form, I don't have to change any of the form assignment settings. Now we can go over to the device and launch iForm. First time you launch iForm, you'll see an option to either sign in for existing users or log into the preview account if you haven't signed up for a trial or a paid account yet. So we have an account. We're going to sign in, and I will enter my username and password and start to sync my device. Now you do need to be connected whenever you want to sync a device and either upload data or download new forms or assignments. You can see that everything has finished downloading here, and I'll click OK. And then I will select back on the iPhone. On the iPad, the outputs or the application view is a little different since there's more real estate. But on the iPhone, we'll click this back button, and this is our newly created form, lead capture event. So you can see that it displays the label and not the name of the form to the user. And it also is showing us this icon that we've selected here. And if we had chosen a custom icon from a URL that we have on our web space somewhere, then we could do that too. Now if we go ahead and actually touch this form, you'll see that these fields are showing, and the little asterisk means that they are required and we need to fill them out. So the first name will be Tony, last name is Ruth, and when I come into the email element, there's not as much room on the iPhone. On the iPad it will be a little different, but it's asking me for my short name. So it's going to be Tony, and since I'm not in, actually I am. I'm in this list here, so I can just select my domain name. I don't need to do anything with the @ sign. If for whatever reason I wasn't in this list, I would then want to key something in here and select that. But since I am in the list, I'll just click done, and you can see it creates tony@iformbuilder.com based on my short name and the domain name from my option list. I just need to sign off on this, and on the iPhone it does flip sideways, so we'll just drag this over and sign, and I'll click accept. Now we're ready to complete this form, so I'll go ahead and hit done here. And since I'm connected to the internet, it goes ahead and uploads that record to the server. Now that it's been uploaded, we can go take a look at it on the page that we would normally log into, which is the data page. And you can see now I have this form lead capture with one record in there. And the list view is probably the easiest way to look at this data at a high level. So if we had more than one row in here, and we'll just create a new one. So this will be Chris Reichert. And since I don't require the email address, we'll just leave it blank, and Chris will just sign. And we'll upload this one as well. So as soon as it uploads, you can refresh the browser and see this new record that's come in. So I hope that helps. Please visit the wiki and our community support forum. You can find both links under the support tab here. The wiki is an ever-growing manual of information, so if you see things that need to get, see things that need better explanations, or there's content that's missing, please submit a ticket through our help desk, and we will be sure to add the content. You can submit tickets in the help desk by just clicking on the support slider here on the left-hand side. So when you click on this, it will ask you, briefly to describe the question, and then some credentials about your account, as well as an email address so we can respond back. and we will continue to enhance the platform, and we love hearing back from all of our users. So please feel free to drop us a line, and also check out the community support forum, which is powered by GetSatisfaction. There's a lot of very useful posts here, and we will continue to use this as a channel to communicate with our user base about server updates, client updates, as well as linking back to the wiki for any content. All right, I hope that helps. Be sure to check out all the documentation, and if you have questions, use that support slider on the left-hand side. All right, have a great day.